Now that your subfloor is finished, make sure it is square. Next, you will want to mark 4 inches and chalk a line where the inside of your log wall will sit on your subfloor. Now you will need to caulk along the outside edge of the chalk line. This will seal off the air from blowing in underneath the first log. Okay, now that you are ready to start installing logs, you will need your log wall prints. The first page should look similar to this. It will show the layout of your log walls and a letter for each wall. The second page will look something like this. Our log wall drawings are drawn as if you were standing on the outside of the log wall. First, here we'll look at the numbering system. We'll use C44 for an example. Now, the number before the C44 represents the length of this log in inches. The C stands for the wall name. The first number will tell you which row it is in, and in this case it is the 4th row up. The third number will tell you which log it is in that row, starting from left to right, and in this case it is the 4th log in its row. Next, you will notice the orange logs. These are the logs that we machine for electrical wiring, which will look like this. Once you have completed the wiring, there is a 1-inch board or cover that is supplied. To cover the wiring, you will have to notch this board for your receptacles or switches. And finally, you will see the X's in row 13, 15, and 25 here in this print. These are manufactured notches in these particular logs to accept loft beams or roof beams, etc. If the notch is shown on the print, the log will be notched. Our KSM Log Home pre-cut kits come with window and door jambs that are designed to seal off any airflow around your windows and doors. The window jambs come pre-assembled, the door jambs are pre-cut. You will have to assemble them on site using 4 screws. Before you place any logs, you will need to assemble and install the door jambs. Find the placement of the door jamb on your log wall prints, or by measuring the first log that runs from the corner to the door jamb, as you see here in this video. Then mark your subfloor according to where the door jamb belongs. Fasten the door jambs only at the bottom into the subfloor or the first log. This applies to the window jambs also. The reason for this is because we build our log houses to shrink or settle, and by fastening these jambs all the way up the sides can create gaps in your logs or keep them from settling properly. After you have installed the window or door jamb, place a bead of caulking up the outside of all your window and door jamb splines. Only caulk as high as the course that you are erecting. Next, start with a corner and the female log for that corner. It is very important that you line this first log up with the chalk line along the inside edge of the female and the inside edge of the log. Once you have fastened the female log, make sure you caulk the corner and place a foam corner pad in the female log. Next, take the male log and place it into the female log and keep it tight against the female log. Before you fasten the male log, insert a 20-penny spike into the gap in the corner, as you see here. Next, take your caulking gun and caulk the corner like this. The reason for the spike is to tighten any gaps on the inside of the corner. Now, whenever you just have two logs coming together in the same row, follow these steps. First, fasten both logs, then take your caulking and pump 2 to 3 pumps of caulking where the logs come together. Then take an end spline and pound it all the way down. Now take a roll of PVC gasket and apply it to both tongues on the top of the log. And once you are ready to set the next log, remove the paper backing on the PVC gasket, and repeat this step on every row of logs. And every 3 to 4 courses of logs, you should take a level and make sure that your corners are plumb. Refer to your log wall prints for the correct size of window jamb. On the log that the window jamb sits on, you will see that it has been marked for the window jamb. Cap logs are installed when all logs are extended to the top of all window and door openings. When installing the cap logs, careful attention shall be paid to lining up the top spline on the jambs with the dado in the underside of the cap log. It is fairly common that some pulling or pushing is necessary to properly align these logs with the course underneath. It is also fairly common for it to appear that this course of logs to be too long or too short. If this does occur, do not cut logs, as it is probably due to a corner being out of plumb. Carefully check all of the inside wall length measurements and confirm that everything is as it should be. Make sure to check lag bolt length above your window and door jambs when fastening the cap logs. In some instances, it is necessary to continue the electrical holes up to higher courses of logs, for light switches, ceiling lights, etc. It is recommended to measure and locate the center of the hole in the previous assembled course, and flip the succeeding course upside down on a set of sawhorses. Measure and mark the center of the hole on this log. Drill log while on the sawhorses and completely clean out any shavings created while drilling. After this log is secured in place on the wall, we strongly recommend that you run the auger bit down through this hole into the hole of the log underneath. This helps to take any edges from the hole underneath to properly line them up. Once you are ready to run your wiring, it is much easier to run them from the top going down, as that is the way that the holes are aligned. In this chapter we will show you how to put together your loft beams. If this does not pertain to your kit, you may skip this chapter. Before you place any beams, make sure you chisel away the tongue in each beam pocket if the beam pocket stops right on top of the next log. Next, you will need to mark where your support post will be placed on your subfloor. It will either be a 6x6 wooden post or a metal jack post hidden in a wall, or both. Once you have your subfloor marked, make sure you place the support blocking between the basement main beam and the subfloor sheeting directly underneath the loft support post. Before you place your post on the subfloor, you will need to install a post adjuster. We allow 1 inch of shrinkage in our log homes, so we need to cut our post 1 inch plus the height of the post adjuster less than the measured height, which in this case the measured height was 83 inches. Now considering the post adjuster, we cut the post 2 1/4 inch shorter. So we cut the post at 80 3/4 inches. Once you have cut the post, find the center of the post and drill a hole approximately 1 inch diameter by about 3 to 4 inches deep. Next, take the loose plate from your post adjuster and lag it to the bottom of your post. We used 1/4 inch by 2 inch lags. Once that is completed, simply lag the rest of the post adjuster to the subfloor. Then the post will just simply rest on top of the nut. Once you have your post fastened, go ahead and install the main beam and fasten it to the wall and to the post using 12-inch lags. Next, you may start installing the loft beams. It is sometimes necessary to do some pushing or pulling of the log walls in order for the floor beams to all fit properly. It is also very important to use the correct length of legs when fastening the beams, using 10-inch legs in the main beam. Once you have finished installing your loft beams, it is extremely important to place substantial additional bracing to the underside of the second floor structure. This floor structure is designed to withhold the finished product load, not concentrated areas of construction materials. We recommend that the loft floor decking be installed after the home is completely under roof. Once you have installed your ridge beam and ridge support post, you are ready to place your roof rafters. You will need to mark the ridge beam where the rafters will fasten into the ridge beam. The other end just simply place in the notches that are manufactured in your log wall, and fasten the roof rafters using two 12-inch legs and washers at each end. You will also notice that the log gable end walls are higher than your roof rafters. This is designed this way in order to hide the built-up roof system. In some cases, you may be able to fasten the rafters from the outside of the log wall, as long as the soffit will hide it when it is completed. Once you have installed all the roof rafters, you will need to install the 1-inch tongue and groove ceiling boards from the top, face nailing them into the top of the roof rafters. Then you may proceed with the lumberyard roof rafters as you would in normal stick-framed roof fashion. Before you place any porch rafters, chisel away the tongue where the porch rafter will sit. your kit comes with a porch, you must assemble the porch gable ends and girder logs at the same time as the house logs are being erected, and you must securely fasten the girder logs to all supporting posts. Also, it is not necessary to place any PVC gasket between the porch logs. When exposed porch beams are included in your kit, they are installed on 4-foot centers with 1.5-inch gable flanking beams at the interior of porch edges. 2x6 tongue groove decking is then installed on top of the porch beams, enabling your finished roofing materials to be directly applied on top of the decking. Okay, this is what your window opening looks like. First step, you will need to install your window. After your window is installed, take a piece of your window and door trim, hold it up against your window, and trace around the perimeter of your window using a pencil. Then take your circular saw and cut along your pencil line. And as you're cutting, those pieces will fall out. Now, you will notice that in the corners, the pieces didn't fall out. So you will need to take a chisel to cut out the rest of the corner. like this. Next, you will need to caulk along the outside edge of the window and along the edge of the logs where your trim will sit. Next, take the window and door trim and cut it to size. You can install it one piece at a time or pre-assemble it and install it as we did here in this video. Note that the raised edge of the window trim goes in toward the logs and away from the window edge. We recommend that you fasten the trim using 16-penny galvanized finish nails, paying attention to nail only into the window or door frame, not into the log wall. All your interior partition walls shall be installed leaving a 1-inch shrinkage space at the top, in order so that the second floor may settle down towards the top plate of the framed wall. And wherever your interior partition walls meet up with a log wall, you must create a slip joint. This is done by using 3 studs as shown here in the picture. And in these slip joints, you need to install the correct length lag bolts, not supplied by KSM. Now that you're ready for your second floor decking, the 2-inch flooring shall be installed with liberal amounts of subfloor adhesive between the piece and the top of the floor beam, as well as along the entire length of each board in the groove area. Then securely fasten each board onto every beam with 3-inch self-tapping wood screws through the tongue and into the beam.